Is well. All right. So today I'm excited because we are joined by the owner, CEO, and creator of Big Kuntry Cigars. How are you doing?
I'm doing great this morning. Thank you for having me.
Good, good. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so let's jump right in. Why did you decide to begin your cigar making journey?
Well, it started with my grandfather when I was just a kid. Really didn't know at the age of 4 or 5 years old that my granddaddy, he smoked cigars and he loved pipes. I liked this pipe as well too. I couldn't stand the smell of a cigar that was growing up. And every time we light the cigar, I would take off and run. Like, that thing stank, granddaddy. So, as I got up in age, and when I started driving trucks about 25 years ago, I first started driving trucks. I dipped and dabbled into smoking cigars here and there until I ran into this old truck driver at a truck stop. And we sat down and had a conversation about cigars. He taught me the proper way to light it, the proper way to smoke it. Taught me a bunch of things here and there. I kind of didn't retain it at the time. So, but as I got more into it, I would finish one of my routes after 11 hour day on the road. I would go to a truck stop, take a shower, eat, and pop up my lawn chair, put on my headphones, and put some jazz music in, and find me a stogie and light it up. And I'm like, damn, okay, I see what you were talking about. So that's I got more interested in it. When I come out the road on the weekends, I would go play golf with some of my buddies, smoke cigars with them. Got more into it, more into it. So fast forward up to about 7 years ago, I got into a really bad truck accident. It actually been 7 years ago last month. And I said, well, I'm retired now, so I need to find something to do. So I continued smoking cigars. And I met this gentleman down there in Florida. He young guy. We went to talking back and forth. He was teaching me more and more about cigar. He said, if you want to learn more about it, you got to read, you got to research, you have to do my stuff instead of taking advice from them. You got to get to everything to your understanding of how this business works. So while he was touring me, I was on the internet reading about different leaves, different regions, type of tobacco. I mean, it's so much information out there that I just piled it all in.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sat down one day and was like, okay. I told myself I want a line of cigars, something small to start out with. He said, okay, well, he said, I'll put some blends together. He put about 50 blends together just like that. And we went through them. We smoked a few. I said, okay. I said, I want this. So I wanted the Habano, the Connecticut, the Maduro, and all shapes. I want them in the Robusto, Torpedo, the Lancero, and the Box Press to start out with. So he made me about 25 each of those for samples. So me, my girlfriend, a twin sister, their sorority sister, her husband, and two other of our friends went down to Florida for a weekend. So we all, we went out to eat. We took them by the Cuban Cafe, which his dad owns.
Mm-hmm.
My blender brought me the samples up. And I said, well, all right, appreciate it. And we sat up on the while having Cuban coffee, a couple of Cuban sandwiches from his dad. So later on that evening, we went to the beach that evening. So we sitting on the beach. I said, I want you guys to try these cigars out. They were smoking. I wasn't saying anything. Nobody knew because I had been going through the process for 7 months back and forth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Versus that before these were even done. But before I even put anything into play, it was about a year and a half that I would talk to my blender back and forth, going back and forth to Florida. So the time came up to like October, September, we were down in Florida. They were smoking cigars. So when we got back to Tennessee, we had an outing with some more of our friends, and I gave a few more of them out. I said, hey, guys, I got something to tell y'all. I said, what's wrong, man? What's wrong? Ain't nothing wrong. I said, the cigar you guys were smoking is a blend I had put together where I've been working with like the last year and a half. That's the only way you're going back and forth to Florida. I said, yeah, well, you got to smoke my cigar that I had made. They were blown away. Nobody knew nothing.
Wow.
Nobody knew a thing but me. I kept everything on the wrap for almost a year and a half. And before I released anything, nobody knew him. Don't know what I was doing, anything like that to that effect. So Ben said I had to brainstorm some name to come up with it. And my old lady told me, she said, well, do something that's close and near dear to your heart. Boom, that's when it hit me. I said the Big John Robusto, Latimer Box Press, the Seville Lancero. And those three names have meaning behind them.
Mm-hmm.
The Latimer Box Press started that one first. That was my granddad's favorite R&B singer, Latimer Williams.
Oh, okay.
No, but my granddad's nickname, just ironically, his nickname is Latimer as well.
Oh,
so he would
to him.
he would play Latimer Williams day in, day out, along with the other R&B, B.B. King, Bobby Blue Band, the favorite that he had too. But Latimer Williams was his favorite. So that's Latimer Box Press. Then I came up with Seville Lancero, which I was raised in a small town called Seville, Florida, which is known as the tangerine capital of the world.
Okay.
I tell anybody to Google it, and they'll tell you, we were dubbed the tangerine capital of the world when I was growing up back in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, wow.
And last but not least is the Big John Robusto, which is my grandfather himself, Big John Reeves, aka Latimer, my granddaddy. So that's how Big Kuntry was born. And so I said, now I got to find a name for my company. And that's the way, they always call me Big Kuntry around here in Tennessee. So name stuck. So I said Big Kuntry Cigars, and that's the lineage right there. Everything I do, have done, and created is due to the fact that my granddad, my home bringing, and what my granddad enjoyed. He was a railroad worker. He worked in the railroad for 55 years. He retired back in the 80s. So he worked a long time on the railroad. He did a lot for me as a kid coming up, and I really didn't understand, what was going on. But now I understand why he did the things that he did for me and to me to make me understand how hard work pays off.
Right. And what was the biggest lesson that you learned through this whole process?
Research, studying. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Spend a lot of money, which I have done, but that's part of growing the business. You're gonna make mistakes along the way. So, some things I made mistakes on, but I learned from it. And now I know, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. I always take notes what I made mistakes on and what I can improve on. So in this business, it's always learning. You're gonna never know everything, but I know a lot of things, and whatever I know, I share it. And so the mistake that I made, I passed on to someone else who might want to get in this business.
Okay. So when I received your cigars, first of all, they are amazing. The second thing, and the review will be posted up probably later this week. The second thing I noticed was your packaging, which I have never seen packaging like that. Like, how did you come up with that? Like, it's vacuum packed, but then they're all in the, I don't want to say
single sleeve,
but they're single sleeves. Like, how did you come up with all of them being together? I literally just went down to preparation and separated it to smoke the one I wanted, which was amazing. How did you come up?
Playing around, because a lot of people when they ship cigars, they put them in the bags, zip them up. That's fine and dandy, but you have to think. I had to think about okay, what's going to happen when these cigars get in transit? They're going to bump it against each other because the leaves are so delicate. You can break a leaf, you can scar a leaf, you can crack a leaf. Just in transit, you may not think much about it because you got it packed, but the cigar's still moving inside that package.
Right.
So I just decided, try a couple different things, and that's how I came up with the idea. It's something simple; anybody can do it. But I just took a heat perforator and went down each middle of it, and did it that way. So that way.
Are you responsible for packaging your cigars, or is that done elsewhere?
I do it. I'm hands-on with everything I do: the banding, the packaging, the shipping, because I'm a very hands-on person with everything that I have. You can't trust everything to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they may have cigar done and just ship them out. Cigar may be horrible, but when I order my cigar come in from Nicaragua, I go through every one of my cigars.
Wow.
I inspect them. I look at the cap. I look at the foot. I look at the body of it because before I package them, send them out, I have to inspect them because I don't want
Mm-hmm.
anybody to come back and say, "Hey, your caps came off or it's cracked or whatever." If it gets damaged, that's due to shipping, not due to me coming out of here. It'll be
Right.
due to shipping. So
Now,
that's why I put in that.
how do you store them? So the cigar roller is sending them to you. So how do you store that amount of cigars?
I have 7 humidors here in my house. They each hold about 2,500 cigars.
Wow.
So yeah, I something simple. I took an old door, a real
Mm-hmm.
big one. I have 2 of those in my back office. I have one in my living room, and I have an antique humidor that holds about 600 cigars. I have a winter that my buddy gave me before he moved to Florida. I use that as well too, and that holds about 400 or 500 cigars as well too. So I can keep on hand anywhere from 2,500 to 4,000 cigars here at my house.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So how do you determine the humidity for your different cigars? Like, because I'm sure they're all not at the same humidity, are they?
No, the humidity varies where you're at. I try to keep the perfect humidity for cigars is anywhere between 60% and 70%. That's the ballpark you want to try to keep any cigar in, regardless if you're aging it or if you want to keep it, if you want to age it to where it stays younger, you can go under a little bit under 60%, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because at a certain amount of time it's going to start to dry out. But I try to keep it
Mm-hmm.
between 60% and 70% humidification. And it
Mm-hmm.
depends on the climate where you're at too. But the humidification is going to vary from climate to climate. Like
Right.
right now in Tennessee, where I'm at, it's pretty tight. It's nice today, but it may be cold tomorrow. And it depends on the temperature you have in your house. So I keep my heater on or my AC on right at between 70 and 72.
Okay.
Depends on how cold it is outside. So I try to
Mm-hmm.
keep right around by 72 degrees, and my humidity point stays right at between 65, and 71% of
Okay.
humidification in it.
So because you're in Tennessee, have you found it hard to get your cigars into cigar lounges down in Tennessee in your area?
Particularly, yeah, yes and no. I've talked to quite a few people up here. I've been blessed with I have 2 lounges, or actually I have let me see, one. Well, I have one lounge I'm working with so far. No, I actually have two. I'm sorry. I have one in Memphis. I have one here in Nashville. My buddy's opened one up. He's getting ready to carry him. Another friend of mine, he's getting ready to open one up in Murfreesboro as well too. So he's going to carry him. I have 3 liquor stores that I deal with as well up here as well, and I also have a contract with a golf course. So,
Oh, wow. So wait a minute. Golf course, that is huge. Like, so
mhm.
that come about.
Well, it just so happened I know the owner and I know the general manager. They're great guys. They're right down the street from where I live at. Talking to him one day, and I left him a sample pack. Uh, and so let's see. Well, the general manager told me, "Hey, man, we're having a golf event that Saturday morning. Come on up." So I took my case up there, just run a test, see how everything would go. And most of the guys told them, "Y'all need to carry the cigar because the one they have in there now," they said the guy said he brought one out. When he cut it, it just cracked,
Ooh.
completely cracked. So I said, "Well, y'all try one of mine." And I sold them at a pretty good price, just to get them in so they can try them. And 90% of the guys said, "Hey, we want cigars in here. Y'all need to get them in."
Mm-hmm.
So the general manager called me a couple weeks ago. He said, "Man, once I get these cigars I have in here out, you'll be the next thing come in." I said, "We got to get a humidor first. Get your desktop humidor. I'll show you how to treat it, what you need to do to it, and we put cigars in there, let them get acclimated, and then we can take it from there."
Mm-hmm.
Is that fine by me? So he said, "I'll let you know when I'm ready."
So is it always do you get a smile on your face if you're on a golf cart course and you see someone smoking your cigar?
Yeah, actually, I'll go out to them. I'm like, hey, how's the cigar for you? Because they don't know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
They said, how's the cigar? They said, man, it's phenomenal. I love it. I said, thank you, I appreciate it. I won't tell them who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I said, all right, so I got to try some of them. That's what I do. So that way, that gives me a mental note of the cigars, how they're doing, after they leave my hand to wherever they're at.
Right. Now, have
That's how.
you ever had anyone say it was good, but like, maybe a little critical of it? Have you had that experience?
Not to toot my own horn. No, I haven't. I mean,
That's great.
they did, they didn't say it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But just so happened that one of my friends, he ordered some cigars that I shipped to him last week. My friend Abdul. So he was on live, and I called him the next day. I said, man, I said, how do you like the cigar, Abdul? He said, man, I hit that Maduro about 3 times. I had to lay down and go to sleep. He said, man. So we got on the live one my buddy that evening, and he was telling my guy Drip. He said, man, I don't know what that dude got in them cigars. Why lay down and go to sleep? I said, man,
What you're
listen, I'll
saying,
make
what you're telling us is that the Maduro needs to be smoked somewhere in the vicinity of a couch or bed.
if you're not a full body smoker, yeah, close to it. But
Not a
uh,
full body smoker, but I do enjoy a full bodied cigar every now and again. So
mhm.
there's that. So, okay. So let me ask you this. So once you
Mhm.
have your production and you have decided on what you wanted, do you see that you're going to add more to your line, or are you going to stick to what you have right now?
I have added a few things I have not released yet. I have my private blend, which is the Big Buford. I think I sent you a high on the hog. I believe I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not for sure. The small one.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. The Figurado. That's the high on the hog. I also have one called the Hog Game, which is a larger version of that. I This Friday I will be releasing my grandmother's cigar, the Maggie Lou. It's a
Mm-hmm.
Mancero Barber Pole that will be released this Friday, actually officially released. Um, with that, I also have a few other things that I have. I have my shotgun series. I have my Maduro Habano Connecticut, which is my 12 gauge, 20 gauge, and double barrel shotgun series.
Okay.
So yeah,
I like that. So when you release your limited editions, like your Maggie Lou, are they is Maggie Lou only going to be offered for Christmas time, or is that going to be in your normal lineup?
it depends on how sales go. The reason why I released that because that's my grandmother. And she was taken from me. It'll be 48 years this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The day she was taken away. So I haven't completely decided on that yet. It depends on the feedback I get from everybody. If they want me to keep it released, or if I should do it once a year, then we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
I'm thinking about doing about once a year on her
Okay.
anniversary.
Okay. So let me ask you, because in this realm of the cigar industry, it's real big
Mm.
brand ambassadors and people that want to always have your cigar, to always promote your cigar. So do you have brand ambassadors? And second, how are they working with you if you have them?
I don't have a brand ambassador. I am very particular about my cigars
Mm-hmm.
because you have to know the history, the reason why I did it, the history of the cigar. You
Mm-hmm.
got to be able to know that back to back like I know it.
Right.
You got to be able to know the binder, wrapper, and filler on it. You just can't have a brand ambassador and say, okay, well, here's a Big Country cigar. This is produced by A.J. Buford, and not giving the rest of the story because
Right.
it's going to be mundane. Say, okay, well, he just got to push the cigar here, trying to get the cigar out there. That's not the way I operate.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure they have an understanding and know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get to know somebody through a brand ambassador.
Exactly.
You
That
know, it,
I appreciate that you say that, because I'm a brand ambassador for
mm,
another cigar, and I
mm,
her and I were Instagram friends for probably about 6, 7 months. And then we're talking back and forth. I got to know her cigars. I reviewed her cigars. And so by the time I became her brand ambassador, I know her. I know each cigar, why she came up with the name, what they're the filler, where she gets them done. Like I know all of that. So for you to say, that the person has to know you, I appreciate that, because there's a lot of people out here that just want to be brand ambassadors to get the free cigars, right? And it's at the end of the day, it really is all about you, your name, and your brand.
Correct.
So
right, because I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because you get a brand ambassador that goes out there and they may, represent the brand, but they may say something detrimental to the company and ruin everything that you built.
Exactly.
I've seen it happen.
Wow.
So yeah, so with that, when I say that, I mean no point in getting brand ambassadors. I prefer that, I do my live, or I do, YouTube channels, I do interviews with people. So when you see me talking about my cigar and the history behind it, then you get to know who I am.
Right.
Because you can't get to know who I am through a brand ambassador. I'm not saying that a brand ambassador won't be in the future, but they're gonna have to know me as well as I know myself and what know my product.
Now, do you have you been approached by people that wants to represent your brand?
Quite a bit ever since I started this business. But like I said, how can you want to be my brand ambassador? You don't even know who I am.
Right.
Sit down and talk to me for 6, 7, 8 months. Get to know who I am as a person. Where I come from. Get to know my background. My children, my military background. My truck driving experience. What I've been through as I got into a bad truck accident. There's a lot to know about the individual. Because if you know the individual, then you know that product.
Right.
If that making sense.
So what does your family think about your whole cigar lifestyle now?
Man, my grandmother loves it. When I went home for her birthday, she turned 91 last month. I went down to Florida. My daughter's 16. My granddad he'd have been 98 in October. My sister turned 61. I mean, all in 1 week. All their birthdays just fell right behind each other. so I was down there. And my uncle, Lonnie B, I thank him because he got me started detailing cars when I was 11 years old. I was a master detailer for 40 some odd years. He said, Junior, I got to have granddaddy cigar. He don't smoke cigars. I put him one in that pack and gave it to him. I said, here's both of you the pack to stick with it. It'll keep it fresh about 6, 7 months. He said he may take up time smoking from time to time, but he said, that's my granddaddy's cigar. I said, I know Lonnie B. So they all love it. They all proud of it, man. And they support me 100%.
And that's great. So where have you been? Like, do you travel to try to get your brand out there? You mentioned Florida. I assume that when you're in Florida, you're going to local cigar lounges and trying to get them to try your cigars out.
But not really in Florida. Florida is really saturated with people with different brands, stuff like that. I want to reach people that's farther out. I don't have a mindset just one state. Okay. I'm trying to go around the world. That's what I'm trying to do. And I want to give a shout out to my boy Said Kunil. He's going to Kenya in about a week. He had a lot of cigars given to him by boutique owners to take over, so we can get the United States cigars over there in Kenya.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm not thinking locally or nationally. I'm thinking globally.
Okay. So let me ask you, because I'm a learner, being in education, just want to learn so much about cigars. Tell me what you learned while learning about cigars that you didn't know, that you was like, what?
I didn't know there are over 150,000 types of cigar leaves around the world.
Wow.
That you can blend 5 million cigars and we'll never have the same combination. Wow. You'll never smoke the same cigar twice. There are different rolling techniques. People roll cigar different ways. They cap it differently. there's so many things to learn out there. But I watch a lot of videos. I have talked to Nick Perdermo. I have talked to a lot of guys who've been in the industry for 40, 50 years, that first generation rollers and blenders. I mean, it's so much information that they have given to me, but I retain it quite well because when they talk to me, I'm always taking mental notes or writing notes down. So I can go back and study these notes and think, okay, well, damn, what can I get the Brazilian broadleaf at? This Connecticut shade leaf, this Cameroon leaf. I mean, it's so many combinations out there that you can do for cigars. So, and I'm still learning.
So when you decided on your leaves, did you travel down to South America or wherever? Did you go down there? Were you able to get them shipped?
I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to go out because the pandemic hit. What I did do was my blender. He had the leaves shipped from his farm, brought some leaves in, and he taught me. He showed me the texture of the leaf, the difference between a Connecticut broadleaf, Connecticut shade, Honduran broadleaf, San Andreas. I mean, it's so many color variations between the leaves that you learn that I'm still learning. I still haven't got the concept of it all yet, but certain leaves you can use for binding, certain leaves you can use for filler, certain leaves you can use for rolling. I mean, for what do you call it? Binding, not binding, wrapping the cigar in. They were binding the cigar in, and it's like, okay, so certain leaves do this to the cigar, certain leaves get this cigar that taste. So it's so much to learn. I mean, it's so much to learn from all that.
Now, I know that a lot of people always say, I want to get my product in this or that, in this place or that place, but they're not willing to travel to those places. They're not willing to give out the samples. They're not willing to, do the work of getting your product somewhere. What would you tell those people? Oh, I can't afford to give out any cigars to a cigar lounge for them to try it. Like what?
One word. Failure.
Yeah.
You've already failed. As soon as you say the word I can't, stop right there. Don't take the next step. Because if you're not willing to put the work in, the travel time in, because you're gonna lose, you're gonna take losses of money. I trust me, I have taken a lot of losses, but you can get cigars out there. Not necessarily a positive thing that they're going to say they're going to carry a cigar, but at least you can give it a try. At least you met them, you talking about your brand. That's it. Some take some longer than others. That's why I've run into that situation more than once. You're gonna get 10 no's before you get one yes.
Yes,
you have to keep right. You have to keep going. You have to keep going.
So what is the biggest say I don't have any inclination to want to start my own cigar lounge or line, but if I did, what would be the very first one piece of advice you could give me?
To start a cigar brand?
Yeah.
Research. Do your research. Do your homework. Because it's like going to school. You go to school, the teacher give you a test you didn't study for, what's going to happen? You're going to fail.
Right.
So in order for you to pass the test, you have to study and research everything that's going to be on that test. The same thing with this industry. In any industry you get in, you're going to have to do your research on that particular industry that you're getting into. If you don't do research on it, I mean, don't try to take a test you didn't study.
Right.
So you're doomed to fail.
Yeah. So now I know you're on Instagram because you're on Instagram as Big Kuntry. Now, what other social media outlets are you on?
This Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram. So you're Big Kuntry on Facebook as well?
Yeah, I have a Big Kuntry page, yes.
Okay, so now tell my followers how they can get your cigars for the holidays.
You can reach me at bigkuntry.com. That's my website. Or if you need to contact me directly, you can go to Big Kuntry 68 on IG or hit me on Big Kuntry Cigars at gmail.com. If you have any questions or you just want to say hello, feel free. My information's up there. So once again, it's BIGKUNTRY.com. If there's something on there that you particularly want, just let me know. Reach out to me. I have no problem by accommodating. I will need to know your palate. If you're a full, medium, or mild smoker. I will need to know these things. We're a beginner smoker. Don't worry. I do have flavored cigars for those who like flavored cigars as well. I carry about
Okay. I
50
didn't know
different
that.
flavors of those. Yeah, I don't have them on the website as yet. I just tinker around with some different things to make sure that people are going to enjoy the cigar that I have. I don't want to put them on the market and they're horrible. I will never do that. So
okay,
yeah.
okay. So you all heard it here first that the one thing that just sparked in my ear right now is you can reach out to him and you can tell him what kind of smoker you are, and you will basically walk them through what cigar they should start off with in your line.
Yeah, I would recommend you like I said, if you're a beginner smoker, you want something light, I would recommend a Connecticut 5x50. But it's small, it's petite, and that way you can take your time with it. You won't get overwhelmed with the cigars. And then if you want to start something a little lighter than that, you can always go to, a sweet cigar. I have a full line of them. So if you want something that's different flavors, I'll be adding them to the website within the next week or two.
Okay.
So just reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help you out any way I can.
Oh my gosh. So you all listen, get at your boy, Big Kuntry, because you are going to be amazed by the cigars. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed them. You will see my review on TikTok coming up later this week. And I just thank you for sitting down with me. I know life happens and we missed a couple of interviews here and there, and then I got sick. And so life, I'm always, it's always a pleasure to sit down with someone in the business who knows what you're talking about, because not everybody knows what you're talking about. Has done the research that you have done. So I thank you for joining me. And I want you all to go out. I want you to look up Big Kuntry on Instagram, Big Kuntry on Facebook. Send him an email if you need to. You can even DM him. He will get right back to you. And I just thank you for joining me today. And I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.